deceleration, there would be an increased force, right? If you fell on a scale, if you landed on a scale, you would see that number go up. That's called increased gravitational stuff. Acceleration, right? Force 2. And at the same time, if you're falling forward, there's going to be an increase in the friction. Otherwise, you're going to just keep sliding forward when you land. So really, at the point of impact, you've got an even greater, while the moment arm might be the same, you've got an increase in the magnitude of the force generating the torque of resistance on the knee. So if you were worried about it, you wouldn't be doing these forward lunges at all. So you must not be worried about it. Or consider this, that maybe this forward lunge and all the forces that are being created, and you're going, well, she doesn't weigh much and she's got 8-pound dumbbells. Yes, but acceleration of a lightweight's a big deal. Deceleration rapidly of a lightweight's a big deal. So her 158 pounds or whatever she is, falling and being caught rapidly is a big deal. And if that's not bothering her knees, then this guy squatting back here that we looked at, not this one, but the previous one, black and white picture, why would we assume that's going to be a big deal just because it violates our sound bite? Because in terms of forces, assuming that both people's anatomy at the knee is exactly the same at the patellofemoral joint, which is a really dumb assumption, but this person may have way more patellofemoral force than that heavier guy doing that squat with his knee actually going in front. So our concern, it's not that it's unfounded, it's just that our measurement tool and rules are inaccurate for determining what we should and should not do. That's the point here. So here's a fun thing to look at. You remember this lady doing the walls? I should have put a wall back there. We don't need a wall. You get it? And what did we have with her? This and friction and a resultant. Do you recall that? Now, let's just try to compare apples to apples here. In terms of what? In terms of joint positions and getting out of the closed chain, removing the wall, which means she's going to fall backwards if we don't what? Well, she needs to actually be in a more squat type position, balanced over her feet, right? And now if we look at the center of mass, which has got to be over the feet, it can't be back here. Remember the center of mass stuff? Can't be back here because you'll fall. Couldn't be way too far forward. So the point is, if we look at her center of mass as falling through this point right here, that's a much smaller moment arm to the knee than this is. And that knee is over that toe. This would be less knee force than this would be. And while that's not only true in terms of the actual torque of resistance at the knee and the resulting quadricep requirements, that's what alters the patellofemoral forces. This knee in front of the toe is better than this knee above the ankle, depending upon who you're talking about. This may not bother anybody. This is even less likely to bother her for all the reasons we just said. So if you're watching this, or someone's watching it with you, or you show it to someone and they're confused right now, well, is it good or is it bad? What do I do? I don't believe any of that. Okay, it's not a religion. Belief not required at all. 1 + 1 is still 2 whether you believe it or not. This is why we have to understand things. This is why this is way down the road in our organization of the information, because there's a lot we needed to know in order to have a language that allows us to speak this fluently and clearly and not be confused. So is it bad? It is our responsibility to understand the potential risk-benefit ratio. What are we getting?